Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here, Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. We try to break down life coaching, psychological, and emotional topics into relatable language. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share this audio if you find it helpful. Today, we're going to talk about high functioning depression. What's that, you may wonder? High functioning depression is kind of a new idea within the psychological and sociological mindset that says there are folks who struggle with depression, which is prolonged sadness, but who function as if they don't. And believe it or not, there's lots of people, all the way back to people like Einstein and Van Gogh, and some people say Robin Williams. There's various people of all different levels of fame and all different levels of intelligence who function with high functioning depression. We're going to run through about half a dozen or so, give or take, ideas or concepts, signs that you may have HFD. Now, a couple of things. Number one, this video is not for diagnostic purposes. If you need that or believe in the diagnostic model, please seek out someone who can provide you with that service. Secondly, HFD is not yet in the DSM. What's the DSM? It's the Diagnostic Model for Mental Illness, which is a model that I personally don't subscribe to, but lots of people, the majority of people do. And so you won't find it in there yet because not enough research has been done to qualify it to be in there yet. Anyway, just running through some of these things may apply to you. If you are overly smart, you're hyper intelligent, especially with certain things, and or you're highly analytical when it comes to smarts. In other words, you have to have the answer to everything before you make a decision, or you are planning everything out, kind of like solving your life like a Rubik's Cube, you may have high functioning depression. Reason being, when you are overly analytical, dealing with people who are more here and now related, or they do a lot of small talk, or they do a lot of non-deep thinking, and they're just kind of surface people, that can be extremely difficult. And so if you do that every day and you don't have people to stimulate your mind, you may get depressed because it's like, hey, I don't fit in with the rest of the world. I'm an oddity. This sucks. What about me? And so that can contribute to depression. Another thing to consider is that if you are a person who is always looking for perfection, you are looking to fit things into its own mold, you are looking to do things right, say things right, act right, get the right result, and you're super cautious and you're very detail orientated to the point of being a perfectionist, it's more likely for you to have a high functioning depression because the pressure you put on yourself to do these things at such a high performance level on a consistent basis can be depressing. It's a lot of pressure to constantly put on yourself. And what happens in the mind of someone with HFD is they go, if it's not done perfect, let's not do it at all. I struggle with this a lot. I struggle with this when I work with clients that I want to say or do the right thing for their benefit. I struggle with this when I work my freelance writing business that I want to present my clients with amazing content that they can't get any better. When I was in broadcasting and even with this YouTube channel, I want to say the right thing so it connects with as many people as possible. And I'm a perfectionist, and I accept that. And it can be really, really challenging if you have that. Now, a person who has high functioning depression most likely has at least one family member within their bloodline, back a few generations, so maybe grandma or great grandma or great grandpa, who struggled with similar things. Research has not been completely done on this, but there's a belief that depression can be genetic. Obviously, there's research that's been done on that, but the belief that high functioning depression can be genetic has not been fully researched out yet. People with HFD are extremely stubborn because their worldview is so small. The worldview goes something like this: I know A, therefore, if you do A, you will get B. If you do B A plus B equals C, so you need to do things this way. And the idea that you would think of things in another way is just so foreign. It's like, why would you do that? That's dumb, and here's why. So there's a stubbornness to people with HFD because they're looking at it going, this is the easiest way to do what you want to do. Why would you want to do it in any other way? Why explore another journey when I've given you a straight line? And this can be extremely difficult to deal with. Next, there's a one track mind. So, where a person that doesn't have depression can look at things kind of from a worldview that's kind of what I call panoramic, or kind of like looking at a landscape scene. A person with high functioning depression is going to zero in on one problem at a time, and they are going to fix it, and they are going to solve it, and they are going to sink it, meaning get rid of it, as quickly as possible. But they're only going to be able to focus on that one thing or things related to that one thing at a time. This can make being in a relationship with someone with HFD really difficult because while they're over being a mad scientist trying to figure out how to solve things, you're feeling neglected, unimportant, frustrated, sad, lonely, and all these other negative emotions, thinking that they're doing this to you on purpose. They're not. It's how their mind is wired. So, you might need to say something to them like, dude, hey chick, you're being a little bit intense here. I need you over here. Could you come have dinner with me? Could you take a half hour break from solving that problem, from taking over the world, Pinky? For those that get the Pinky in the Brain reference, bonus points. Could you do that so we could watch TV? And realize that this person, if they have a connection with you, especially if they're emotionally connected to you, they're probably going to say yes 8 out of 10 times. But their mind may still be focused on that thing in the back of their mind. Their automatic or subconscious mind may still be focused on trying to solve that problem, even if they're present in the room with you and sitting right next to you. They have a very difficult time letting things go before they're solved. The next to last thing, it's easy for these people to burn out. So generally what happens with a person with high functioning depression is they'll get really, 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 really super into something, a hobby, a professional trajectory, a relationship, and then they try to solve it, and then they figure it out, and then they go as deep as they can into figuring out other angles of the same story, and then they burn out because they know all there is to know about this thing. And so it can be extremely difficult if variety is not in this person's life on purpose, like deliberately creating variety. Without doing that, the quality of their relationships struggle. And it can be extremely difficult to go, okay, I know you want to do this, this, and this, but we're going to go get Thai food now. Okay, I know that you need to solve this for your boss, but we're going to go to a concert tomorrow night. Because the burnout factor is based on not enough variety of experiences. The last thing, and I touched on it in the beginning in the open of the audio, but a high functioning depressed person is super creative. This is because they often have a worldview that's different from the majority, and they need an outlet to express that worldview. Now that worldview could be expressed through art, it could be expressed through music, could be expressed through poetry, it could be expressed through teaching of topics, it could be expressed in any number of ways, but they need a creative outlet in order to survive. Some people it's just fun to create. For them, it's like breathing. And so, if you see someone that you believe has high functioning depression and they stop creating, they give up on their creative projects or they walk away from them, it's time to be a little concerned, or actually moderately to majorly concerned about them, especially if this happens for several weeks at a time. Because it means that they're near that burnout level, they're not in a healthy place, and there's a lot of potential challenges ahead. So that's this audio for today, and I encourage you, if you're functioning, if you're dealing with and functioning with high functioning depression or other emotional challenges that you haven't quite found a Rubik's Cube solution to, please feel free to reach out. You can do so here on YouTube, or you can do so at my Twitter, at PO Perception on Twitter. Usually get back to you within a day or two. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.